This beautiful book, St. Paisios, talks about how do we experience God's mercy and how do we get God's help. So many people today, when I work with youngsters and they say, where is God? And, where is God? What is he up to? And how do we experience God? Well, that's quite an advanced question. But it's one that comes to us after when we've been around for a bit longer. How do we experience God's love, God's mercy, God's grace? I don't want God just to be an idea in my capoccia, in my head. The Bible says, and St. Paisios is going to focus on this, Matthew 7:7, one of my favourite verses of the Bible: ask, seek and knock. If we truly ask, if we truly seek and truly knock, God will show up sooner or later. He's also going to look at the idea of humility as being that which attracts God's grace. A very orthodox way of thinking. It is humility that attracts God's grace. What temple shall you build me? Says Isaiah, I think it's 55. I built the heavens and the earth, but on this I will place my eyes, on he that trembles, on the humble and he who trembles before my word. Filial fear and humility. He says St. Paisios says God's not going to force himself on anyone. So we have to ask. And when God truly says, yes, this person wants the graces, wants what they're asking for, and it's right for them, God will provide it. He also talks about we must do what is humanly possible. But ultimately our works are like zeros, and God puts his one before it and makes it infinitely valuable, but in and of itself it's nothing. Another thing he says is, when God really wants to give us his divine consolation, he'll arrange it so that human consolation is no longer on hand and no longer satisfies. He uses the analogy of when Greeks went to Australia, they were further away from their homeland and there was less of them, and so they really had to press in to divine consolation, and therefore they retained their religion better than in general those who went to the likes of Germany, where they were closer to home, closer to human consolations, closer, there was more of them, and so there was more human consolation on offer. I actually think, for some of us who perhaps have jobs that are very tough and perhaps have circumstances where we're even denied the consolation of having good Christian people around us, a good church close by and whatnot, the suffering of hard labour and hard work, etc., in tough conditions, unpleasant conditions, if faced with humility and born for the love of God, can open us up to deep and very powerful divine consolation, all ways in which we experience the love of God and the mercy of God according to St. Paisios.